already out on their formation lap for this first race of the weekend, the second time on live stream this year for the Modified Ford Series. Brilliant new series. It's joined forces with the BRACC this year. Great to have them on board. Again, not as many cars as we had at Donington Park, but regardless, should be a fantastic race with the 14 that we have here lining up for us this afternoon. So the grid, as follows, to give you a quick rundown, is as follows. So it's Dave Cockell's Ford Escort Cosworth on pole position alongside Piers Grange's Escort Mark II. Ashley Shellswell in his Ford Sierra XR4i next to Malcolm Wise in another Escort Cosworth. It's Paul Neville in the Escort RS2000 and Stuart Day in his Escort Cosworth. It's Darren Owens Escort Mark I RSR and Dave Barrett in the Fiesta ZTEC S come next on rail 4. Then it's John Edwards Parton in the Fiesta XR2, the Crossflow powered S Fiesta Mark I of Jimmy Neophytou. Then it's the Hadfields, Mark and Kevin, who had one of those Pumas fell in qualifying, and Andy Pipes Mark I and Ollie Allen's Ford Fiesta Mark III. So 14 cars, 15 minutes, all set for another race here for the third time on live stream for the Modified Ford Series here at Anglesey. It's Dave Cockell and Piers Grange on the front row of the grid. The lights go out and we're racing, and a cracking start from the front row of the grid to get the whole shot for the Mark II Ford Escort of Piers Grange, Dave Cockell, which I know that car's got several hundred horsepower in that Ford Escort Cosworth. Not quite getting the start he was hoping. They all head down towards the banking for the first time. They make a great sight. If you're a Ford fan, definitely one for you. And Ashley Shellswell was also going for second place there. All over the place on the exit, the banking getting very sideways. But he's managed to hold on. And he might well have lost second place again as they come down towards the right-hander. There's the number 2 of John Edwards Parton in the Fiesta XR2, battling away with Andy Pipes, Ford Escort Mark I. What a fantastic sound they make, some of these fast Fords. I have to admit, I'm a bit of a fast Ford fan, so there's some great cars in this field. The number 17 of Ollie Allen there in the Mark III Fiesta, Mark III Fiesta, made a couple of spots up already. And there at the inside, diving up there was, I think that was, no, sorry, that was Dave Barrett we were looking at. Ollie Allen's the white car there, the Ford Fiesta Mark III, getting in the mix there too. But already it's Piers Grange in the Escort, in another Escort Mark II, leading the way. It's then the Escort Cosworth of Dave Cockell, which I know has got about 600 or 700 brake horsepower and putting quite a charge at Donington Park when he had some kind of a gear shift issue at Donington Park. I think if I'm correct, the gear stick fell off, so he unfortunately had to retire from the first race. Came from the back of the grid. It literally took him about 8 minutes to go through from the back of a 30-plus car grid all the way through to the front of the field, and he was battling away with a wonderful car which was there at Donington Park, the Wayne Crabtree Subaru engined Ford RS200. That's a fantastic car on that grid. Hopefully we'll have that back for a future round later on this year, but Dave Cockell already making inroads on the small lead that Piers Grange had. Now as the 95 Ford Escort Cosworth makes its way back into the right-hander at the banking to try and take the lead away. But Piers Grange's Ford Escort Mark II is looking equally pretty powerful. There's Ashley Shellswell's Ford Sierra XR4i. It's Malcolm Wise in, looks like 4th position in his example of the... Paul Neville, in fact, is up to 4th in his Ford Escort RS2000. The sound of these fantastic Ford engines in the background, some of that proper touring cars, old school touring cars of the 80s and 90s. Going to be fast machines. There's car number 8. That's Daz Owen in his Ford Escort Mark I RSR. And a great large rear wing on the back of that machine as they make the sprint down towards Hill for the second time. And I have to say, Piers Grange's Escort Mark II has got the measure of Dave Cockell's car. If you saw the car at Donington Park, it was in quite dominant form, particularly on the sections where there were some long straights. And I think down the Tom Price straight here, Dave Cockell might have the power advantage, but he's certainly trying as hard as he can to try and make this work. Ashley Shellswell on his own in 3rd place in that very competitive Sierra with the almost RS500-esque front bumper on that car. So 4th place now for Paul, but that's for Malcolm White. He's got past the Escort RS2000 amount of Paul Neville, and who's also under threat now from the number 17 now of Allen in that Ford Fiesta Mark III. Started towards the back of the field. He didn't set a time in qualifying, so he's had some work to do from 14th on the grid. He's already making up some inroads and making up a few places. He's now up to 7th place from the back of the grid. So Ollie Allen having to work hard in his what he states is a Mark III Fiesta. I would call it a Mark VI, but there's not too much debate about that. So I'm being pedantic with car models, so forgive me on that one. Anyway, the leaders might change here because Piers Grange runs a little wide through Church Corner, and the straight line poke of that Ford Escort Cosworth is going to really start to come into play here as the two cars absolutely rocket ships down towards the score corner, back under brakes again towards the Rocket Complex, quite fittingly. So a good little duel going on here between different generations of Escort. The Sierra in third place of Ashley Shellswell holding on to third. Malcolm Wise fourth. Ollie Allen's up to fifth now. He's got past Stuart Day's red Ford Cosworth and then getting past the RS2000 Escort of Paul Neville. They make their way back towards the Siemens complex for the first time. Very equally matched battle there. I wonder what the race would have been like if Pierce Grange had been in this kind of form at Donington Park. Now, that's interesting. The wipers are on for Dave Cockell, and you have to admit, if it gets to the wet weather, you have to admit the Escort Cosworths are going to be in a real advantage here because they'll have the four-wheel drive system. Yes, all right, they might be on a different tyre, which might not be too conducive to the weather conditions, but the four-wheel drive will certainly help. Now the pit straight, wonderful engine in that Mark II Escort singing away with Piers Grange at the wheel. Here's a nice little battle here with Malcolm Wise. He's usually quite formidable in that Escort, backing against his old sparring partner Rob Burley. Here's a separate car like this, or a similar car like this, and he's now finding himself under threat from the very fast Mark VI Fiesta of Ollie Allen. So he's made up another position now. It's up into fourth position, fourth overall. Now his next target, if he can lap that quickly, is going to be to try and catch the third place car of Ashley Shellswell. As we see now, Malcolm Wise's car with wipers ablaze, and also Daz Owens as well, that Ford Escort red RSR Mark 1. Big spit of flame from the exhaust. This is a brilliant car to watch. And fantastic spectacle they make these modified Fords. Really looking forward to the next few rounds. I think their next round is going to be, with us at least, at the BRSEC at Alton Park on August 14th. So hopefully we'll get a few more of the cars which compete at Donington Park back on the grid once more. Into Siemens, the weather wipers now starting to go on everyone. Oh, Stuart Day, little twitch there. I know these cars are four-wheel drive, but if it starts to get a bit damp out there, they might find themselves possibly sliding around a bit more than they'd like to. So watch for these three Ford Escort Cosworths. In theory, the four-wheel drive should put them in good stead, but Daz Owen is taking full advantage of his potential grip advantage to go around the outside of Stuart Day and get the much better traction off the corner, but even he's struggling for grip. So everyone now starting to put the wipers on. I don't know. I can't really tell how severe the rain is and how quickly it's falling, but seems to be very light rain, but it's causing enough to maybe sort of make it a little bit slick out there for the drivers. And that said, sometimes you can't really tell by the speed of the wipers. They might have it to one set speed, so it might be that it might look as though it's going like the clappers on the windscreen, but it might not be that strong a rain. So still, with the wipers going to and fro, it might be an opportunity for some of the cars in the mix to try and take advantage with some of the grip advantage they might have, particularly the four-wheel drive cars if they can make it work. So out in front, Piers Grange still holding on against Dave Cockell. Lap time wise, they're very, very similar. In fact, last lap they're actually a tenth slower running in tandem with each other than Ashley Shellswell. So that's one to watch out for. Here's that battle still going on. There's Malcolm Wise, Paul Neville, Stuart Day and Daz Owen. Now it's going to try and get a little bit better grip on the exit of the corner. Here is our top two again. You can hear that Mark II engine singing up towards the hairpin. It's a beautiful sounding car. Out of the hairpin they go. There's Shellswell in the background in third place in the Sierra. And again, the rain continues to fall here. Apparently it seems very, very lightly, but it's doing enough to make the track a little bit slicker, a little bit greasier than it was before. And whoa, Piers Grange caught that very well indeed on the exit of the final corner, in front of a rather bemused Dave Cockell, thinking that was going to be a one-way ticket to an accident. But well held from Piers Grange to keep that car from getting into the barriers in the Mark II Escort. But now he's thought, right, you've had your moment. Now it's my chance to attack here. Dave Cockell having a look to try and press on. Great car control from Piers Grange. Very lucky to keep it not front. Spearing left, but managed to get on the brakes and managed to hold on to that very quickly. You can tell that's how greasy it's becoming out there already, even with a bit of light rainfall. But here it comes, side by side. Piers Grange has got incredibly slightly better acceleration off the corner. They're going to be a bit more careful through School Corner here. Now the rain's starting to fall a little bit more. This will mean that this afternoon's races might be a little bit more interesting, given the fact that it's going to be slightly different conditions that we've had with the bone dry track we've had all weekend so far. And now they head up towards out of Peel corner. And there's Ashley Shellswell. Ran fairly strongly. That's a really nice sounding car. I think that's a V6 underneath that Sierra. Beautiful sounding engine. I didn't really want to talk there because that just Mark II engine sounded so brilliant on the run towards the hairpin. It's a wonderful sounding car. So, but Piers Graves putting a fantastic effort to keep race winner at Donington Park, Dave Cockell, at bay. Dave Cockell's been in BRC events before. It was back in the days of the Arrow Pack Hero Saloons and Sports Cars, when that car was prominent in that series as well. And since then, he's raced it all over the place in those last few years. Good to have him back in the BRC paddock this year. He made that reappearance at Donington Park in the modified Fords. And I think he's enjoying himself out there. Now, Daz Owen has caught, he's not only caught on par as Paul Neville's Escort RS2000, but he's also now got onto the tail of Malcolm Wise here. And this is going to be for 5th position. So Malcolm Wise in his Escort Cosworth. And he's caught one of 3 out there that has this WRC style body kit, like the car which ran back in 1997-98 in WRC in the hands of drivers like Carlos Sainz and Juha Kankinen. Some drivers having to get their rally skills out here in these damp conditions. Under brakes here, this brilliant back and forth battle here between Piers Grange and Dave Cockell. It looks like it's in a bit of a stalemate, but whenever Dave Cockell tries to throw an attack, Piers Grange always has a response in that brilliantly prepared Mark II Escort. Out through Peel corner. 2 generations of Escort, very evenly matched. And he turns his way now into the left-hand. Just the background there, you can see Paul Neville and Stuart Day disappearing off into the rocket complex. There's Ashley Shellswell in that wonderful sounding V6 Sierra. Now then, to the outside goes Dave Cockell. You can see a couple of light spots of rain starting to form on the camera, just you can see through the focus. So I think there's some rain getting in there. Going to come up to put a lap on. I think Dave Barrett's Ford Fiesta Z-Tech S, I think, is going to come up to put a lap on. He's just coming across the line now, but they'll come up to put to passing shortly. And Dave Cockell moves to the inside line, possibly have a look getting through, but once more Piers Grange shuts the door. He's almost slightly tiptoeing their way through turn 1, not as quick as they were before because of the greasy conditions now with the light rain falling. Now with 3 minutes to go, it'll be an interesting battle. Still, it's Stuart Day now. Again, taking a speculative look up the inside of Paul Neville, the man who looks after modified Fords as a whole. And it's great to have Paul and modified Fords under the BRC roster this year. Again, they have that fantastic grid at Donington Park. We've got some brilliant cars here competing at Anglesey. We're looking forward to the next few rounds. Coming there. So, oh, Malcolm Wise is off the road. Malcolm Wise, the Ford Escort Cosworth, is off by the barriers. Now, I don't think he's hit the barriers. I think he's just simply pulled up with a problem. So either that, or he's slid off the road given the wet conditions. Now, I think he's trying to get it going again. But either he's stuck or simply there's a problem with that car. I'm not 100% sure, but that's a real shame for Malcolm. That car still not having moved yet. And it's whilst we try to get that going, I was going to explain it's a 4-class system in the modified Ford. You have Class A for, oh, we've got going again, so we'll quickly go back to that in a second because Malcolm Wise has managed to find the circuit again. So I think he must have, I'm guessing he might have had a bit of an off, potentially, up at the hairpin here. Found himself possibly glancing against the barriers, trying to get the car restarted, and has managed to do so, but has lost several positions. So I think he's now been lapped by, well, not quite, he's been lapped by the leaders, but certainly getting quite close. So out of the left-hander, they're going to have, I think, maybe just about 2 more laps because they're coming across the line now. They're just come through, and stopped at the. Looks like he stopped on the what is the coastal circuit. That's the Ollie Allen Ford Fiesta that was having such a great race for 4th position. Now then, those two he was quite close to Malcolm Wise. I don't want to put 2 and 2 together, but Malcolm Wise has come off the road. Now Ollie Allen's car has stopped further around the circuit on the same lap. So I wonder, I don't want to guarantee that it's between those two, but there might have been possibly something between those two, but we'll leave it to the clerk of the course and the stewards to decide if there was anything between them. If there was, if was anyone at fault, if at all. So, we think just about 2 laps to go then. We're on the penultimate lap of the race as now Dave Cockell takes the tighter exit out of turn 1 to get the racing line for turn 2. Now Ollie Allen's car is off the circuit because it's on the runoff area, so I don't think it'll be a problem in terms of position because he's pulled it right off a piece of circuit that isn't being used. So it should be alright and it shouldn't prompt any yellow flags or anything, I don't think. Now to that part of the circuit where Ollie Allen has pulled off. And Pierce Grange still maintaining the place. Yeah, he's not in the way of anyone, so the racing should continue without any yellow flags, I think. And if Dave Cockell wants the victory here, his second win out of 3 races, well, he'll have to try and make it happen pretty quickly, and he might well think he might have more horsepower, and he might well have 4-wheel drive. So you might be thinking, surely I've got the advantage here, but he'll know that he's not only very experienced, but a very good driver in this Mark II Escort, and he won't give this one up for an inch. Now, 10 seconds left to go. They will get just about one more lap. Yes, they will. So last lap board goes out. It's blue flags to try and put a lap on the number 2 Ford Escort Mark II, and that's going to be of John Edwards-Parton. You almost think he's in the same stable as Alan Hawkins with that jigsaw livery on that car, but I think they're completely unrelated, so it just seems to be a good coincidence that those cars have got a very similar livery. So, out of the bank for the last time, and the top 2 have been in pretty much a rather tense stalemate throughout this entire race, very evenly matched between these two generations of Escort, the Mark II against the Mark, I'm not quite sure what the generation is, but the Escort RS Cosworth. And back up towards the complex, and again you see it's not comfortable taking the racing line. Grange prefers to go right to the wide on the exits, take the inner line for the second part of Rocket. Opposite line for Cockell, but he wants to try and get the undercut and get a nice slingshot off the corner here to close back in. He's running out of options here with a few more corners to go on this last lap, but I think Dave will certainly have enjoyed this back-to-back full battle. They're coming up to put a lap on the Mark I Escort of Andy Pipe, which, if I'm correct, you can actually get a Scale Extras model of that car now, because one of the sponsors of 105 is Scale Extric, and I think they've been recently revealed that Andy Pipe's Escort Mark I there is now been immortalised in Scale Extric's form, which is great. He lets them both through on the lap. There might have been a tiny lock-up there from Piers Grange under brakes for the hairpin, but it appears, with 1 corner to go, that Piers Grange is going to hold on here and hold off the might of Dave Cockell, whose car is quite formidable, but it looks as though so is Piers as he comes down towards the left-hander at the bus stop for the final time in a brilliant back-and-forth race in the first modified Ford encounter of the day. The victory will go overall to Piers Grange in the Ford Escort Mark II. He takes the victory only just from Dave Cockell, and the winning margin at the end of the race was only 0.179 of a second between them. That's how close it was. Ashley Shelswell will come across the line and take second place in Class A. It was class wins, respectively, even classes B1 and A for Grange and Cockell. It will be 4th place coming across the line shortly for Daz Owen. He's in the invitation class this weekend. He's the sole invitation class car. There's one of the Pumas coming across the line in the background. That is, that would have been possibly, we have 1 Puma on the grid because that was the 76 car, because the other one stopped in qualifying sadly. So, well, Paul Neville with a little bit of a sideways moment there. The car which we saw stop, I think, was the 21 car might have, was Kevin Hatfields come across the line. It is going to be Paul Neville who comes across in 5th place. And he managed to get ahead of Stuart Day. I think had some issues on that last lap and lost about 10 seconds. So he comes across in 6th place, but 3rd in Class A. So good effort from him so far. We've also had our rest of our class winners cross the line and finish as well. So Andy Pipe was winner in Class B, and it was John Edwards-Parton in Class C. So let's confirm the result then. It's Piers Grange who wins overall and in Class B1. And that is a win by 0.179 of a second from Dave Cockell in second, who also wins Class A by finishing 2nd overall. 3rd place overall, 2nd in Class A goes to the Sierra XR4 Ashley Shelswell. The invitation class runner Daz Owen picks up 4th overall and the class win for him. It's 2nd in B1 and 5th overall for Paul Neville. Then it's the 3rd place and 3rd place in class and 6th overall for Stuart Day. Andy Pipe wins the Class B in 7th overall in his Escort Mark I, followed by the Class C winner John Edwards-Parton and his Fiesta XR2. Then it's Class A's Malcolm Wise after he had that that was an off or pulled up alongside the tyres earlier on in 9th place and 4th in Class A. Then it's the Hadfield for Puma number 76 to finishes 10th. Jimmy Fire2's Crossflow engine Mark I Fiesta in 11th place and 3rd in Class C. And then Dave Barrett's Class C Ford Fiesta Z-Tech S was 4th in category and 12th overall. The only non-finisher that we had sadly was Ollie Allen, who had a great charge for what was at one point inside the top 5, but had to pull off down at the coastal circuit off runoff area due to a mechanical issue of some kind. So modified Fords are done for the first race. They will be our last race of the day in our second half of today's action. But we're going to have a lunch break coming up now for roughly about, what's the time now? We are, I think, right on time actually. We're right on time for lunch break, which should be quarter past 1. And we're pretty much bang on quarter past 1 now, so we're straight into lunch break. It'll be about an hour's worth, and then we'll be back on action with more coming up this afternoon. We'll quickly run you through as a reminder of the timetable after we've done top 3 interviews for the modified Fords before we then break for lunch. And remind you of the all race order, but there's your race winner overall, and also your class winner from class B1 for today's first race, the modified Fords, in it being Piers Grange. I'm sure the first person he's going to come and get a handshake from is Dave Cockell. I think I'm sure he'll have enjoyed that little back and forth battle. It might have felt like a bit of a stalemate, but even so, nice to see them going back and forth. They see Dave take a look at the engine on that car as well. Might not have thumbs up from Dave. He's still smiling. Still a class win for him, so he'll be enjoying that. But that's what several hundred horsepower of Ford Escort RS Cosworth looks like. And that's quite a large turbo on that car as well, so no wonder it's got several hundred horsepower. So no wonder he was flying on the straights at Donington Park. He was pretty rapid there. And no wonder he, as I mentioned, he started at the back of the grid after a gear shift issue. Look at that, handshakes and japes all around. But yeah, let's have a chat to our top 3 after that race with James Peter Dennis. And an entertaining first race for the modified Fords here in Anglesey in Wales. There'll be more of those in the last race of the day this afternoon. Let's go down to Park Fermé and our pit reporter James Peter Dennis with the top 3 for our modified Fords.
A fantastic BRSCC modified Ford series. Our winner was Piers Grange, but you probably had the widest Mark II Escort in the world. Not even four-wheel drive could help Dave get past you. You've got to be so happy with that.
Yeah, I am very happy with that. Luckily, my car was a little bit quicker in some of the twisty bits, which just give me a couple of car lengths on the straights. And then, like you say, making my car wide. Luckily, he's a good driver, isn't he? Yeah, good fun.
Excellent stuff. Dave, you tried everything, didn't you? And not even 600 horsepower and four-wheel drive could help get you past his pocket rocket.
No, he did really well. Yeah, he did really well. It was a tough race. Yeah, looking forward to the next one.
And you're going to try and get the jump on him next one?
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know what happened to start. He just got on. I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. Slow down.
Excellent stuff. Well done. Third place was Ash Shell as well. We'll just have a quick word with Ash. You nearly had them.
Yeah, at the start I nearly had them. Cockle was a bit slow coming on the back straight. He held me up. They got away with it. And they were just edging away slightly. I kept pulling back slightly, but when the rain come down, it got a bit iffy. My wiper stopped working, but then it come back again, but too late then.
Yeah, and obviously rear-wheel driving a lot of power. You're almost hanging on to it, aren't you?
Yeah, I was, yeah, and a welded diff as well, so it's a bit, yeah. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well done. Well, there's your top 3 for the BRSCC Modified Fords series.